Welcome back to another episode of the Glory Reds podcast. Of course, I'm joined in the studio with my boy Benito. What's up, my guy?
What's good, D?
All is well. All is well.
You know why I'm
uh,
laughing? You know why I'm
yeah.
laughing?
Okay.
Because we subject ourselves to another disappointing performance and another
Ah,
nail-biting situation. I'm just like,
yeah.
why do we put ourselves through these things?
Yeah. Yeah. I hear
But
you, man.
before this, today we have the press conference reaction and obviously the
Yeah.
match for
Match preview.
the match preview. So
Yeah.
yeah, man. Did you manage to catch the press conference?
Yeah, I managed to, well, not live. I never caught it live, but I watched it like I think 2-3 hours afterwards,
Uh-huh.
just to see what it was all about. Um, Look, I don't know how everybody feels about it, but I wasn't really happy about how the press conference went
Uh-huh.
because, look, as much respect as I have for Sir Bobby Charlton, and I know we're still through a mourning state, and I know, there's this whole tribute thing going on, but I sort of feel like during the presser, they were like trying to push an agenda. It's like,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? It's like, look, he passed away. May his soul rest in peace. And I feel like Saturday's match was enough. You know, we could like take out of, in terms of honoring him and you know doing a tribute and going out there and winning the match. You understand? So for the reporters to still come out today and ask and tell Ten Hag that, um, it's almost like you still need to pay tribute and you need to go and win this game for Sir Bobby. You know what
Mm.
I mean? I'm like, nah, man, we did that on Saturday. You understand?
Exactly.
There's no need to keep on piling more pressure on the manager and on the players. And it's like, yeah, you need to go out there and pay him tribute and win the game. And I could see like Ten Hag was like his facial expression is like, I get where you're coming from, but at the end of the day, if this never happened, it was still a game that we needed to go and win anyway. You understand
Yes.
what I mean? So
Yes.
yes, would like to go there and pay tribute, but whether it's tribute or not, it's still a must-win game for us. Like
Mm.
this shouldn't be the only motivation for the players. They should have the
Exactly.
motivation every single game week to go and win games, not just because a famous legend passes away or whatever, etc. They should just have that hunger and desire to go out there and win the games all the time. So that's
Mm.
why I'm not really happy about the press conference because there was so much um, information that we wanted to get as the fan base that I wanted to know. I wanted to know about injuries, who is getting left out, who is going to start, how does he feel about going into this fixture, etc., etc. But it just seems that every single question was, a so Bobby question, like, Ten Hag's, you just talking about he remembers watching Sir Bobby Charlton and he scored this, wonderful goal, and it was reminiscent to Dalot's goal. And now they're making comparisons, and they're like, when I saw Dalot score, it reminded me of, a famous goal that was scored by Sir Bobby Charlton. And then they asked Dalot, like, how do you feel, you know, that you scored a goal that was alike to the football legend, you know what I mean? And they just kept like trying to dig more and more into like the whole thing, and I'm like, guys, like, come on. You know what I mean? Like, not to be disrespectful, but we're going into a Champions League versus Copenhagen. You know, um, again, not to be disrespectful, like we don't need to make it about what you call this Sir Bobby Charlton. You know what I mean? Like, let's keep it about the game. Let's not add any unnecessary pressure weight. It doesn't need to be added, and let's ask the relevant questions that we want to know and that we need to know. So yeah, man, those are my thoughts on the presser. I don't know if you want me to like give a more detailed run through about what
No,
happened. Anything else that was said?
no, I got what you were saying, and it's funny
Yeah.
that the British media keep on doing this. They always ask unnecessary questions. They always push
Yeah.
unnecessary agendas. That is a fucking
Mm.
agenda. They are trying to
Yes.
push something. So if United go out there and lose, then we are not
Yeah.
honoring Sir Bobby when we've already done it
Exactly.
this
Then
weekend.
it's a
Right?
big story for them.
Like
United
it
go and
becomes.
disappoint the legend. You know
So
what I mean? And it's
you
like,
see what
come.
they're doing. They are sort of
Yeah.
baiting us. They're preparing a story before the story. You know, like
Exactly.
they're forcing us into a corner to say things, do things, so that when
Yeah.
things just fall through, they are the first ones to be like, these questions were asked. This is what was
Yeah.
happening. Hey,
Mm.
man, these guys, they piss me off when they waste questions.
Yeah.
These reporters, I
Yeah.
don't
They do.
get it.
They
How do
really
you just
do.
go there with all the credentials that you have and ask the most stupid questions? Are you listening
Fam.
to the fans? Do you have some sort of idea of what people are out there talking about? The concerns.
Mm.
Why is Scott McTominay playing in a position that he doesn't excel in? Why was Mason
Exactly.
Mount not in the starting lineup?
Exactly. I wanted
Why
to know
is
about Mason Mount. That question wasn't asked.
you see? Why are you
And you're
asking very stupid questions? Why?
like,
So
it's
that press
pointless.
conference was a waste,
It was
honestly.
a waste. Literally, it was a waste. When you go and look at the notes, it's just like though having kind of what do you call this thing? Uh, not a memorial. Is it a memorial? I can't remember what it is, what it's called. But basically, we're like when someone passes, and then you
Ah,
have this
yeah,
like thing
yes, I heard
where you
about
go and
it.
talk. Yeah, so it's almost like they had that. You understand what I mean? Because and again, not to be you know negative or what I mean, disrespectful, but like that literally could have just been a separate thing altogether. You understand? That could have literally been a separate thing altogether, and it shouldn't have been bundled up with this fixture. Because to your point, we needed to know like Mason Mount, why didn't he start? Scott
Exactly.
McTominay, is he still planning to play him and use him in the same position? What's
Hey,
happening with Sergio Regulon? He was in training.
hey,
You
the
know what I mean?
substitutions of Rashford, the
There's
why
a
did Garnacho and Facundo,
You
why,
understand what I'm saying?
it's questions.
There's so many unanswered questions, but they decided to make it like, oh, are you gonna take the emotion from the passing of Sir Bobby Charlton and use it as inspiration to go and beat Copenhagen? I'm like, come on, guys,
That
and
is
Ten
a
Hag,
given. Like,
and obviously he can't disagree. He had to agree and say, look, of course, you know what I mean. So Bobby was, part of the Holy Trinity, statues at Old Trafford. They get that for inspiration, but he again reiterated that that should not only be their source of motivation. You understand? Again,
yeah,
coming back to United players should not only be motivated because of a tragic event or whatever. This needs to just be in them. It's that hunger, that desire needs to be instilled in them every
it has to
single
be
game
an
they go and
everyday
play.
thing. Yeah,
Exactly. It shouldn't be about, oh, because this and this happened. That's when now we're supposed to draw inspiration and whatever. Because all of that is not going to change, bad playing. All of that is not going to change. All of a sudden, Scott McTominay is going to transform into a world class CDM. You know what I mean? It's
you know,
ridiculous. So,
D. I found
yeah,
I found that I found that comparison that you just talked about Dalot and the goal. Like,
yeah,
Dalot wasn't born during that time. Like, he didn't get, like, he never watched Sir Bobby, and you're asking him questions about, like, okay, the only person, like, okay, I get it. In that final, England played against Portugal, I think, and then their legend, I think, was Usebi, a Portuguese
mm,
legend. I think,
yeah.
did they mention any of that? Like,
Nah,
that there's some sort of connection to that? Because it's pointless. It's really
it's pointless. It
it's
really is pointless. It was,
pointless.
it, it,
And
it was a
it
waste.
almost it almost seems like they were going to trap Dalot, because if Dalot gave the wrong answer about the history of United,
Exactly.
then he's not done
Exactly.
his homework. He's not a true
Dude,
red. What is he doing? And then it's just
yeah,
another
yeah,
unnecessary blow up for, like,
true that.
why? Why?
True.
Um
So
any
yeah.
injury updates?
So the only update that we got was on Regulon. So apparently they're in the assessment phase
Yeah.
whether he's going to start on Tuesday or not. So that's basically the latest update on Sergio Reguilon. And
Okay.
that I can't recall it being in the press conference. I think it was just a statement that I saw on the Manchester United website. Right?
Okay.
It could have been mentioned in the presser. Maybe I just missed it because my mind just wandered because they're just not asking the relevant questions. But yeah, if you go on the app, if you go on the website, there's a statement that Sergio Reguilon may start tomorrow, which is definitely a good thing because yeah, playing three, the defensive situation right now is not looking like a man.
And did he mention anything about um the front line? We talked about like those
No,
guys not scoring. Like, did they ask
yeah,
anything about that?
nope, no questions. And those guys have what? Because I remember you mentioned it the other day. It's like one goal in 20 hours or something like that. I saw it somewhere
Nah,
as well.
it's
That stat,
crazy.
and I was like, absolutely ridiculous. I have no idea why we're not talking about this, why it's not being brought up, you know. And
This
again,
is
like
the
why
problem, D. People are
it's a mm,
they're just
and you know what?
ignoring it.
There's this other stupid question that they asked. They're like, um, Rasmus Højlund is gonna be playing against his former club. You know, it's gonna be a good stage for him to shine. And like, dude, that he's a boy. You understand what I'm saying? They're talking like this
Eesh.
dude. They're talking like like when Van Persie moved to United. You know,
Yeah,
that's a relevant question. How is Van Persie gonna fare against Arsenal? Because he's been playing for Arsenal for like
yeah,
years. Do you understand
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
I mean, when you play for Copenhagen, come on, like seriously, guys, are you gonna ask that question? Like, oh, is Rasmus going to, I don't know, Super Saiyan 2, 3 transform because he's going up against his
And
former,
when did
like,
he play for Copenhagen?
come
Like
on,
what,
guys,
academy or what?
dude, like, come on, come with some serious questions, man.
He's
Come
20 years old. What are you talking about? Like,
fam.
what history does he have with
Yes,
Copenhagen that
what
is enough?
exact history? It's not like when he finishes his career, he's gonna look back at Copenhagen. You understand what I'm saying, and be like, "Oh, I remember." No, like, like what, what emotion? Like, no, fam. The questions were disappointing. They were literally taking the piss. The questions were disappointing. I'm like,
I
is this the
hate
best you could
pressers,
come up
man.
with? You know, the,
Ish.
dude, we're literally sitting last in that group. We're the only team in that group that hasn't won a fixture. They
Bruh.
didn't even bring up that to say, look, you guys are performing poorly in the Champions League. You haven't won any of your games. All other clubs have won a game except Copenhagen, which have at least drawn a game and lost one. How do you think you guys are going to fare in the Champions League? Do you think you guys are going to advance past the Champions League or not? Do you understand what I mean? Those type
Yeah.
of questions.
Yeah. Get
It
him
was
like
being
let's see
questioned.
where his mind is at. Yeah.
Let's see where his mind is at. We want to know what Ten Hag is thinking, Not to get asked stupid questions like Rasmus Højlund's gonna be emotional facing his old club. Like, get
Who
out.
gives a
Get
shit?
out.
Ah,
Dudes, no one cares about that, fam.
bro.
Dude, no one cares about that question. No one is hungry for that answer. Why is it being asked? You know? So disappointing press conference. But anyway, with that being said,
Yeah.
let's move on to the preview.
Yeah,
So yeah, with a little bit of information that we've got, obviously we want to be judging off the last game we played, which wasn't really that good. We don't really have a history against Copenhagen. I think we last played them in 2006. When we played home, we beat them 3-0. When we played them away, they beat us by a goal. Wait, let me just double check. I could be wrong. Could be wrong. But I think that's how I remember it.
yeah.
Um, that we've won one, they've won. Actually, what am I doing? I have it right here. Why am I typing away?
And the
Um,
errors, bro. Just look at the errors. Like the errors have come and gone. Like errors have started.
exactly, man. That's 2006, man.
There
That's
is
way
no
too far.
there
You
is
know
no
what I'm saying? So that was 2006, 2007 season. So when we played them home, we beat them 3-0. When they played us home, they beat us 1-0. And again,
That's the
whole
season
different
we
era.
won the Champions League, man.
Wasn't it 2007, 2008? Wasn't
Yeah,
that the one we won?
yeah.
Yes, not
What season is that?
2006, 2007. Huh? This season
What's
was 2006, 2007.
ah okay.
Yes, yes, not 2007, 2008. But yeah, so that's it. If you look at form, current form, Copenhagen won their last game just like us, same scoreline 2-1. The last 5 games, they have won two, lost two, drawn one. We have won three and lost two. So when you look at form, we're evenly matched, even though we're
Yeah,
not
we
supposed to,
are.
but
We
it is
are.
what it is. You know what I mean? When you look at injuries, I don't know if these are key players for them, but let me just mention it. Maybe someone out there who's listening knows. So
Yeah.
for Copenhagen, they have Clem, who is injured, and Mi Ling. Yeah,
Okay.
no suspended players, and they only have two players that are doubtful. That's Boyleson and Kocholava. Kocholava. Sorry for pronouncing your name. But yeah.
Mm.
Um and then on Man United side, obviously we've got Martinez who's not available, Malacia, Shaw, Pisaka, suspended Casemiro, we're not gonna have him for the match, and then
Eish.
doubtful is Johnny Evans and Regulon. So yeah. So basically if Regulon is not cleared and Johnny Evans is actually injured because he's a doubtful player, that means we actually may see
At three.
Amrabat back in left back, and then most likely Ericsson and Mount, or Ericsson and
Scott.
Scotty in the defensive midfield duties. That's what it looks like. But anyway, that's like the basic stats around the game. So yeah,
Yeah.
man, give me your take, man. With all this information that's been put out there, and obviously coming off this, you know, what seems like a defeat, even though we lost, poor performance
Even though
against
we
Sheffield
won.
United. How do you feel? Yeah, how do you feel will fare against Copenhagen, knowing that our current form is basically alike?
You know what? I'm not confident and I'm also confident. It's a very strange situation I'm in. Because like I said,
Yeah,
Champions League just seems to bring a different side out of players. We even saw it in our previous game against Galatasaray. We saw our
yeah,
boy Rasmus Højlund shining. He was a different
mm,
kind of beast. And in the Premier League, he looks tamed. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
just judging off the performances we've had in different competitions,
yeah.
I'm slightly I, I'm slightly confident that we will put in a shift in this game.
Okay.
But again, now we move into the concerns of the injury crisis. You just mentioned that Johnny Evans is a doubt, and that is
Yeah.
a problem because I mean he's almost like last choice defender, but he's
Mm,
kind of important at the same time right now. And now he's
yeah,
injured.
yeah.
Like now,
There's nothing left for us. That's nothing.
now, now Eric is going to chop and change. Eric is
Yeah,
going to start switching things around, putting players where they don't belong, and we're going to
yeah,
get that no cohesion, no
yeah.
style of play, just doom doom everywhere.
Frankenstein
Unless
team.
yeah, you know what I mean? Because everybody's
Mm,
out of place. We are lacking,
yep.
there's some sort of fear, like this. The players are not comfortable because it's not the full team,
Yeah,
and we don't know what
yeah.
Copenhagen is going to bring us. Those guys can off the bench
Exactly.
come for our throats, catch these boys off guard, and our boys don't do well. They don't do
Mm-hmm.
well when they drop,
Mm-hmm.
unless someone in the team decides or whatever. So I'm
Yeah,
worried and confident in those sense, in those
yeah.
yeah. But I think in Champions League terms, I think the boys will bring it. They will
Okay.
they will do a job. It might be an ugly
Yeah.
job. I'm not even confident in the style of play and how exciting they're going to do it. I just know they're going to
Yeah.
do a job.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I think I've come to the realization or the conclusion that I'm going to wait for the whole United squad to be fit, like have everybody back. That
Yeah.
way, I think we will start getting back to our normal selves, and that's when we'll start to see the sort of style of football that we were used to from last season. But for now,
Yeah.
For now, we're just going to have to bank on the individual brilliance from a lot of the players. And yeah, because I mean, you saw Amrabat hitting the post, Bruno hitting the post, that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Expect that from
Yeah.
them. Yeah.
Yeah.
And this, so okay, with Evans being a doubt, obviously it shines a light in Amrabat, somebody that we desperately want to get comfortable playing in the midfield. We don't want him
Yeah.
to keep on moving up and down. We just want him to get settled in that position and make it his own.
Yeah.
But there are chances that he might be deployed back into that left back if Regulon doesn't feature. But if Regulon does
Yeah.
feature, I think I think we might find some sort of balance because we'll have Dalot on this side, Regulon on this side, and then there'll be some sort of ease. And then maybe we can get Lindelof and Maguire to do the job in the
Yeah.
defense. And then let
Yeah.
Evans relax and chill. And then, yeah, we take it from there.
I just remembered we actually have Varane back. So,
And
do you
you see?
think if if Regulon is not cleared, do you think he would still go? Do you think you'll put Varane in Johnny Evans' position? So keep Lindelof playing left back, and then have
Yes.
Varane and Maguire, and then Dalot.
Yes. Yes.
Mm.
That's what I believe he would do.
Instead of having Amrabat playing in
Yeah.
the left back position.
Yeah.
So that's most
Because
likely what it's gonna look like.
if he doesn't and puts Amrabat back in that left back position, people are going to
Yeah.
want they're going to want his head because he has already shown us this past game week that he can put Amrabat in the midfield and he can use Lindelof at that left back position. He has shown us.
Yeah.
He can't go
Yeah.
back because it makes no sense. Because think about it, D. If he takes Amrabat and puts him there, it leaves another defender there on the bench chilling,
Yeah.
which means
Yeah.
that we're going to put in another player who's not going to do anything or try and offer anything in, i.e.,
Yeah.
let's say, for example, Scott McTominay in the defensive
Yeah.
role that he's supposed to play. So he's going to confuse himself if he
True.
reverts back to Amrabat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree with you. So, okay. Obviously, we had a problem this weekend in terms of cohesion, chemistry. The same problem that we've been having for the past season. Let me not even bullshit for the past season. So, for this game, all right, how do you think Ten Hag should approach it? Do you think he should just go with the same starting 11 and just hope that this is the game that they have a turnaround in form miraculously, or should he try something different? Because with Rasmus Højlund, we finally have a striker. We finally have a target man, and I don't think we're getting. I don't think we're giving him enough service. And this has been a problem with Man United and Man United strikers. With Cavani, it was the same problem. With Ronaldo, it's the same problem. We're just like with Ronaldo that he's an elite striker. You know what I mean? He made do with the scraps. Martial, same thing. He gets scraps. And our strikers at Man United, unfortunately, have just fell victim to trying to exceed as being a striker of scraps. So do you think it's high time that he just brings into that game more players that are going to provide for Rasmus Højlund to give him more chances to convert because he's not getting enough service? So basically, populating that midfield with players that are going to give him chances. Amrabat will find him. Ericsson will find him. Bruno will find him. Pelestri will find him. Garnacho will find him. You know what I mean? Even Martial will find him. So do you think this is the game that we say drop Rashford, drop what you call this, Anthony, drop Scott McTominay from that starting 11, and put in Ericsson, put in Garnacho, put in Pelestri, and just have a more dynamic midfield that are ready to service the striker, and if not even Garnacho, then even Martial, because we spoke about Martial has been playing a number 11 position. That's not foreign to him. He plays very well in that position, and he wins free kicks in very good positions and even penalties. Um, so yeah, should he go with that sort of approach, or should he just stick to the same starting 11 until somehow they turn it around.
Hey man, that is the $1,000,000 question, T. Honestly, because I was thinking about it today because I was now thinking, what should the manager do right now? Because yes,
Mm,
like for example, we won the game in the weekend, but it was not convincing. The
yeah,
performance was still bad, and we know what the issue is. We know what the problems are. The problems are
yeah,
our forwards are not fucking scoring. Rashford
yeah,
is not scoring. Anthony just dances and does fuck all.
yeah,
Rasmus is having a graveyard shift. He's not
yeah,
receiving balls. He's making the right
nothing.
runs. He's making
Mm,
the right channels. He's getting himself into the positions, but people are not finding him. The problem is
yeah,
the fucking front line, D. And
yes.
Eric Ten Hag needs to fucking sort that out because
Mm,
here's the weird thing about football these days. Evidence is there. We are watching. People are seeing what's
yeah,
going on. We are seeing the impact that Garnacho is putting. We are seeing the impact that Pelestri has when they're playing. I look at that
yeah,
game against Sheffield United, and I was pulling hair out of my bald head, wondering why Facundo's not getting a run at this. Because I'm looking at that team, I'm
yeah,
like, man, this game is meant for these youngsters. These youngsters are actually going to show these senior players what's up. They're going to show them how
mm,
to get the job done. You saw Garnacho when he came on, he was already ticking, making things happen. And I look at
yeah,
Rashford, asking myself that question, dude, like you do realize that we're watching you, right? You do
mm,
realize that we are seeing your facial expression. We see you not tracking back. We see you making the wrong decisions. You do realize that. Anthony,
mm,
you do realize that we're watching you. Instead of making the run or taking on these players, you decide to turn back and make an unnecessary pass. Do you realize that we see you? You
mm,
understand? So
yeah,
because we see this, it is very difficult for the manager to come out there, do something that makes no sense, and then for us, the fans, to accept it. You
mm,
understand? So at this
mm,
current moment, bro, like I think and I believe even the United faithful can agree with me. People want change.
yeah,
People want Rashford
yeah,
and Anthony dropped. We want to see
yeah,
more exciting players. We want to see Facundo this side. We want to see um uh Garnacho on the other side.
yeah,
What's his name? Scott McTominay. Stop playing him as a camp. Stop playing him as stop giving him defensive duties. Stop.
yeah,
Stop. 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 You saw
mm,
it in the previous game. You put him in the starting lineup. You put him because you can argue and say that you brought him in because you knew he was going to score. Fine.
mm,
You deployed him in the central in the midfield. He had
yeah,
9 fucking touches the whole fucking time he was on that pitch. What was the
mm,
point of him? Just to come there and score that goal? We can get somebody else to do that. Or we can
yeah,
bring him as a substitute to come and score that goal. We don't need him
exactly.
occupying space and time for other players to come in and do the job. You understand?
True.
So these questions are going to be asked. So like that, Hannibal, why he didn't play? That is an energetic
Mm,
young talent that is giving us more. Hannibal is better than Scott McTominay in the midfield.
yeah,
I can say that with my chest. Based
not
on
true. I agree
everybody's
with you.
what they're doing, like their duties. Come on,
100% agree with you.
that boy tackles. He puts in a proper tackle. He
Yeah,
loves a nice old English tackle. Now we have got
yeah,
all these things. So Eric Ten Hag is at a point now where he has to really make a big decision. Whether he sticks
mm,
with what he is going to do, which I believe is going to disappoint him. I really think that these first team players, the guys that he's favoring right now, they
mm,
are either going to be his downfall or they're the reason why we are going to remain in the position that we're in. I don't see any development. And what I also kind
yeah,
of see is if he is going to um, make these quick substitutions, because I was really annoyed by Rashford's substitution. He did 4 goals, he
okay,
came out 85 minutes. Like, really? What
yeah,
happened to what you were trying to do in the previous games by taking him off early to give the
mm, mm,
opportunity for the other guy coming in?
yeah,
Subs are good and well, but then if you want a player to have an impact, you need to give him time. You can't expect him to
yeah,
just like there are rare occasions like Scott McTominay, and there are rare occasions. But then if you've got young, exciting players who come there who can do the job, they need more time. They need to keep on running. They need the distance to keep on going and doing the stuff. So it makes no sense, So he really, really needs to make a change. For me, I want Rashford dropped. I want Anthony dropped. And I want Scott McTominay dropped. Those are the people that I want dropped. And then in that front three, he can mix it up with whoever. Be it Martial, Garnacho, Facundo, I don't care. Even if he wants to put Scott McTominay in that front three, I don't care. But I think Rashford and Anthony right now, they need a reality check, bro. These guys need a reality check. You're not scoring. So that needs to be something that you go and think about when you go home. Why am I not scoring? Am I being too selfish? Am I making the wrong decisions? Are you not watching your games? Are you not seeing the mistakes that you're making? And are you not trying to improve on that? Come on. You see, G. So it is a big question. That question you asked me is very big because all these things need to be factored in, But Eric Ten Hag needs to make a change now, whether he's sticking with them or he's going to drop. And can I tell you something? I have this weird feeling. Like there was something that I was thinking about the Mason Mount thing. I know yesterday I mentioned that Mason Mount looked like slow or whatever. But then I sat there and thought, could they be resting Mason Mount for this Copenhagen game? Like maybe this is Mason Mount's game. Maybe he's going to be deployed in this game one way or another. Maybe. I don't know. So I took comfort in that. And then I want to see Eriksen in because the weirdest thing in the world, the weirdest thing that's happening at Manchester United is whenever you see us have some sort of stability and calm on the pitch, it is because of Eriksen. And this sort of thing used to happen when we used to have that Spanish maestro, Juan Mata. He used to make things you understand? So Eriksen brings this whole calmness in him. I think he's fit.
True.
I don't think we need a very combative midfield. We need brains, experience.
True.
So I'd like to see a midfield of Amrabat, Eriksen, or Bruno and Mount. How he's going to do it, he will figure it out. I don't care. But he needs to work with those guys and stop putting Scott McTominay in there.
It's pointless.
Stop. The evidence is clear that Scott McTominay is a striker. Let's switch. Stop. So, man, I'm worried about that. Those are my worries.
No, true. Valid worries, and I hear you. But at the end of the day, Ten Hag will make his decision. That's the unfortunate, thing. Sometimes predictable. Sometimes he hits us with the surprise. But with that being said, what do you think the scoreline will be? In fact, before that, give me your predicted starting 11 for this match.
Okay. Man, I would love to see Alte, but obviously that is a story for another day. So I'll go with Nana.
Okay.
Regulon left back. Maguire left back, left centre back. No, sorry. Not Maguire. Lindelof.
Okay.
Left centre back, and then right centre back Varane, and then right Dalot. Midfield, I'd like to see Amrabat, Eriksen, and Mount or Bruno. And then actually, I'd like to see Eriksen, Amrabat, Bruno, and Mount on the right. Either Martial or Garnacho on the left, and then Højlund up top.
Okay.
Højlund or Martial up top. Honestly, the front three, I'm at a point where I don't care who plays. I want to. What's working right now? Like what we have right now is not working, so we need to chop and change and see what works. You know what I mean? So honestly, because everybody in that front lineup, all our front three players, they're not ticking. So honestly, anyone in that front
Yeah.
three can work. But I would like Rashford and Anthony to be dropped, just to make to
Mm,
like sort of send a message, and also to
yeah.
give these boys a reality check about what's going on. Man,
Yeah.
Rashford 1 goal against Arsenal. When was that? How
Yeah.
many goals have Newcastle scored since that time? Tell me.
Exactly. Yeah.
Uh,
Via. A lot.
Fire.
A lot.
So
Mm.
yeah, man. Yeah, but that midfield, I want to see Ericsson, Bruno, Amrabat, or Mount.
Yeah.
Ericsson, Bruno, and Amrabat. Mount, I
Mm.
really want him in those forward positions. So I think he might be doing a little interchanging with Bruno if he will start on the right, because they tend to do
Yeah.
that. Mount coming into that
Yeah.
number 10 position to help, or they come together and do some damage in the midfield together. All well and good.
Yeah.
I don't mind, but Mount
Yeah.
needs to be on that starting lineup. Mount, Ericsson,
I hear
Amrabat,
you.
Bruno, they need to be on that starting lineup. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right.
What about you?
Okay. No, interesting. So for me, I'll go with the same back five.
Yep.
I think he starts Amrabat in the midfield. I think he continues to reward Scott McTominay in the midfield. So I'll go Amrabat, Scott, and Bruno.
Ish, you broke my heart saying
Rasmus
that.
as our number 9. You know what? I just have this weird feeling
And
he's
it's
not gonna start Rashford or
G,
Anthony,
that
and I have
feeling
this.
is for real. I
Yeah,
believe it. I believe it. I have
yeah,
the same feeling. I was just ignoring it. And I'm
yeah.
like, nah, I don't want to.
I think this match. I think he starts Martial, and I think he starts Mount. I think that's the front three. I think the front three is either going to be Martial, Rasmus, Mount, or Martial, Rasmus, Bruno, and then Mount in the number 10 position. So yeah, that's the way I see it. And then Scott, Amrabat, and then the same back five that you mentioned: Onana, Dalot, Varane, Iceman, Lindelof, and
Regular.
Reguilon if he's fit to start. So
Yeah.
that's the way I see it. I just see, I don't know. I just have this feeling he's dropping Rashford and Anthony.
Man, oh well and good. I'll be happy with that. And I'll be
Yeah,
happy if we go and smack Copenhagen. Like the chosen ones, the ones that start,
yeah,
I'm rooting for them to fucking score. Because
yeah,
we really need a reality check. These guys need to understand what's at stake here. It is
yeah.
not a fucking joke. We need
And you know,
goal, bro.
and correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't Copenhagen from the Eredivisie League?
Uh-uh.
It's not.
No.
It's not.
Yeah.
Copenhagen's from
It must be from
Denmark.
Denmark or Austria or
It's
Sweden.
from Denmark. It's from
Okay.
Denmark. It's from
Yeah.
Denmark. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. No, it's fine then. But yeah, we should be able to. Again, I just man. Anyway, it's United. Let me not say much.
I know.
I'm like, this should be a straightforward game. You know what
Bro,
I'm saying? Who did they draw with? I'm sure they drew with Galatasaray.
they
I'll be
did
shocked
the
if they
first
drew
game.
with Bayern.
They
Yeah,
they drew and Bayern smacked them.
and Bayern smacked them.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, this is, you can
And we are
clearly
now
see the difference,
going to give them their 2 points now with the draw.
dude. And here's the thing, because they scored against Galatasaray and they scored against Bayern, and Bayern was only able to put 2 goals past them and Galatasaray. You understand what I
So
mean? So
they have got
clearly
goals in
they're
them.
tough.
Yeah.
Clearly they're tough, and clearly they're stubborn in terms of scoring. They will
Yeah.
score. You know what I mean? Now the
So
problem is, when will that goal come? Because if that goal comes before we score, we are fucked. You
we are
understand what
fucked. Ah,
So we need to
bro.
put 2 goals up before they decide to score. You know, otherwise it's gonna be a problem. It's gonna be a real problem. So yeah, man. Scoreline. What do you say?
Man, I want to go with the conservative 1-1. Like I see
Okay.
a draw. I really see a draw.
You
I'm
do
not
realize that if we draw, that's it for us, right? You know this is a must win, and that's why I think the press have just been like,
No, like
you guys
no,
need to
D.
gather emotional strength and all of this,
If we draw, we still have a chance, provided we win all the other games coming back.
which is a lie.
Never
which is
give
a
in.
lie.
Never give in. Alex. Alex. Never give in, my
It's a
guy.
lie, Ben. It's a lie. If we don't win this game, it's done. You can just forget it. You know what I mean? You
It's
can
Europa bound
forget it. Yeah, Europa standard. You know,
to go and join Liverpool. The poop.
Fam, I tell you, the Champions League is not for it's not for amateurs. The only
No.
teams that have won all their games thus far, and it will even make sense when I mention the teams. That's Bayern, right? Real Madrid,
Yeah.
um, Man City,
Of course.
Barcelona.
Of
Those are
course.
the four teams that have won all of them, all their matches so far. You can't compete, and then you're out here saying we're going to fam. Nah. Champions League is for serious people, serious
For
teams.
serious people.
It's not for play. Hmm? We're
You know,
out here we're making numbers. This season we're just making the numbers.
yeah. We're
That's
placeholders just to add
we're
numbers to these guys
placeholders just to
to
add
make
numbers,
it
fam. Just
competitive
to add
in
numbers.
Yana for them.
Because in this group, we're literally supposed to be behind Bayern, and we're failing to
Bro,
do that. We are failing. We're behind Galatasaray and Copenhagen out of all the teams to be behind. It's
and
fam,
imagine Liverpool, who deserves to be in this competition,
dude, are not even in it.
are not even here.
Dude, Chelsea's not even in it, yeah?
Nah, Chelsea is not in. I don't
Dude,
think they're in any
and,
European
and,
football.
and look at the newcomers, Newcastle, top of their
United,
group, and they have PSG, they have Milan, and they've got Dortmund,
Dortmund.
and they are first. And they're first in the fam. United should be fucking disappointed with themselves, fam.
Yeah.
Utterly disgusted with themselves.
Yeah.
Like this is just it's unacceptable. So yeah, man. On my end, you know what? United, man. I don't know. I think we'll win. You know how United is. They'll give you false hope. So I think this is gonna be our false hope game that we can still make it out of the group, and we're not going to. Sorry for being so negative, but I think we're gonna win 2-1. Just to give us that false hope. There'll be fireworks and celebrations. In Salford Square in Manchester. You know. I don't know if there's even a thing called Salford Square. You know what I mean? I'm just talking cack here. But anyway. Like every city has a square. You know what I mean? So I just assume, Salford seems to be like the popular neighborhood in Manchester, because it's close to Old Trafford, I guess. So, yeah, man. Salford Square, celebrations, fireworks, pop champagne. And then it's back to regular when we go back and face Bayern again. And then, we're brought back to earth, and Galatasaray just seal the deal, and then it's wraps. We're just playing for fun against
we need to go into this game protecting our hearts and taking it with a pinch of salt. It's going to be a roller coaster, ladies and gentlemen. Unless our boys prove us otherwise, It's been a while since we've gotten a good game where we're fast tempo. We got those during all the years. Yana there. Last season, we got some games where we were dominating. We haven't had that this season. Like, we haven't had a single game where United is top from beginning to the end. Score line, possession, alles on top. We haven't had that.
And it's so weird because it's so hard to wrap your head around it. Because you're like, this is the same team. Albeit, yes, we got injuries and whatever. But when we started off the season, we started with Luke Shaw. We started with Martinez. We started with Varane. We started with Pisaka. We started with Casemiro. We started with Ericsson. We started with Bruno. We started with Mount, a new signing. We started with Rashford on form. You know what I mean?
Everybody.
Garnacho. And then it just, I don't know. Like, things are just not making sense. I don't know what happened when they went on vacay. I don't know what happened. But they just came back a different team, and it's so disappointing because, last season they gave us one of the best seasons that we've had in a very long time. Probably the last best season we had was Mourinho when he went and won the Europa, EFL, and I think it was Community Shield, when we had Zlatan. That's probably the last best season that we enjoyed, you know. But
Mm.
other than that, fam, like last season was just,
Oh,
you know,
and COVID-19.
and COVID-19 when we bought Bruno, when Bruno came in and just started,
And we
we
had
had
Martial,
him again.
Rashford, and Greenwood
Uh, what
firing
was
on
it?
all
Igalo.
cylinders.
When we had
Yeah.
Igalo scoring,
Yeah.
just, you know what I mean?
Mm.
Our
And
lonely
we
striker.
and we had our front three of Martial, Rashford, and Greenwood firing it.
Fam, fam. Oh, man. Yeah, true that, true
With
that.
with Boom, with Boom on the middle,
Bro,
pinging balls like a mother.
it's. But yeah, man. But anyway,
Yeah,
I think
man.
that wraps it up for this
Yep.
episode.
Yep.
We'll catch you guys probably tomorrow, the day after, with the match reaction. I don't know. Are we gonna react immediately after? Yeah, and then
Well,
put it up.
we'll see the circumstances. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah. No,
Yeah.
most def, most def. But yeah,
Yeah.
any last remarks before we close this one off?
Man, I don't want to say this because I have been an advocate for this man, Eric Ten Hag, but if he
Yeah,
continues with these very weird combinations and if he continues at the rate that he's going, I'm sorry, I don't know what else to say. You
yeah,
understand? Like I don't know
yeah,
what else
yeah.
to say because even though we are hit with this injury crisis, you can still find a way to put out a proper team that it can work, that can do a job.
True,
Like
true, true, true,
we
true, true.
understand that the players you might pick players because you believe that they're going to do the job, but then you've put them for 60 minutes and nothing has come up. Like they haven't
Yeah,
shown any signs of getting even close to scoring.
yeah,
Make the
yeah.
subs, make the change,
Mm-hmm.
give the chance to the person you're bringing in to impact the game. That's the whole
Yeah,
point of the substitute to come and
yeah,
change. You know,
yeah,
don't wait till last minute and then like don't wait for miracles. Let's not wait for that one moment because Rashford has always been referred to as that guy who he he will not do this, but he will get a goal or he will get an
yeah.
assist. We
Mm,
get that, but then if he's going to play 90 minutes and only give us one goal and one assist, that's not
yeah.
fucking enough. It's not
Spur of
enough.
the moment.
If we have let in 3 or 4 goals, what's the point?
Mm,
What's the
exactly.
point? So
Yeah,
Eric Ten Hag is like the spotlight is on him. And D,
yeah,
remember that stupid, silly thing that I said I wanted to ignore? It has
yeah.
resurfaced. And I saw this
Okay.
thing months ago. We just never talked about it. Potter.
Yeah,
You mentioned it
yeah,
previous.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
don't know if
yeah,
you
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I've
Potter,
seen, I've seen, I've seen, I've seen, I've seen, I've
bro,
seen.
bro. Like
Yeah,
I don't like when these kind of news start coming out because
true,
now people are
true.
now starting to look because now it will frustrate the weak, the faint-hearted. They're gonna get
Yeah,
frustrated with the current situation and say, "Nah, this guy is not up to task. He's not up for the
true.
job. We need to get somebody who's English, British. Start
Yeah.
pushing an agenda like they always do.
Mm,
What are this?
yeah,
Hey, his job at
exactly.
Brighton." And I know they're gonna focus more on the Brighton situation and then take
Yep.
bits on him being at Chelsea. How,
Mm-hmm.
bruh, I don't like where that is going. So just
Yeah,
just a heads up to the United fans that this is
yeah.
what's out there. This is the current
Mm,
situation that we're in. If we're gonna stick with the manager, let's stick with him. Yes, we
yeah,
can question his thing. Like I said, he's on the chopping block. But yeah, man. Like honestly, I don't know
yeah,
what to say about the gaffer right now. If he's gonna
yeah,
continue like this and not listen and not pay attention to what we see, is
yeah,
bro, bro.
yeah,
I don't know what the future holds for him. I really
yeah.
don't.
I
And
hear
that's
you.
coming from me, who trusts this
Mm,
man with his life.
yeah. Mm,
So
yeah,
yeah,
man. The calm before the storm. But anyway, thanks for that. And thank you guys for listening to another episode of the Glory Reds podcast. You can catch us on all your favorite podcast streaming platforms. Just search for Glory Reds FC. And yeah, you'll find us, wherever that's going to be. That's Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Zencaster, Castbox, Well, all these platforms. Don't forget to visit our website, goredsfc.co.uk. You catch all the latest blog articles there. Don't forget to jump onto our community page. Join us on WhatsApp group. We need more people in the group. Always a good chat in that group. Don't forget to follow our social media platforms. Stay up to date whenever episodes come out or any news topics that we're posting on there. So you can check it out as well. We also have our Fantasy Premier League group. Jump on ahead, join us. Let's grow it. Let's at least try get up to like 20 at least. By the end of the season, and then maybe we can do something fun for next season and be more competitive. But yeah, let's grow our little, community fantasy league. But with that being said, thank you once again for you guys listening and supporting us with this podcast, and we'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace.